up, Gato Squad? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Elias. If you are new here and like daily car content, consider subscribing by hitting that button below. Today is a beautiful day in Pennsylvania. Take a look. Awesome. And I think it's time I take the Type R for a little joyride. And I'm wearing my favorite shirt, Mad Elf. Let me know in the comments if you know what that's from. And yeah, so I wanted to share a 5,000 mile, 3-month update on the car. You know, I've owned it for 3 months. It's had its ups and downs, of course. So the main question you're gonna have is, has it all been worth it? Well, let's go ahead and go for that ride and I'll explain everything. So now that we're on our way, let's go over my ownership experience of this car now that I've owned it for 3 months and 5,000 miles. So first let's go over the things that I've done to it. Now, of course, most of you guys know I've done the muffler delete, so that's the first modification I wanted to do to this car when I first got it. I think one of the main things that this car lacks from the factory is a good exhaust note. It's very quiet from the factory, and they do it for regulation purposes, I believe. They also want to make sure it's not too drony for people that buy this car. So what I've done is I went ahead and deleted the back 2 mufflers, just 2 of them. I left the middle resonator on in the back. I've left all the resonators on, the whole exhaust, and I think it sounds perfect. Let's give you a little acceleration here. Perfect. It's only loud when you really get on it. There's a little tiny bit of drone at 3,500 RPMs. This is about as bad as it gets for the muffler delete. If it gets any louder than that, it'll start getting annoying in my opinion. So I think for now, this is pretty much spot on in terms of exhaust note. The other thing I did to the car was, of course, I've changed the wheels and tires up. So the main question I've been getting with the wheels and tire setup that I got is, do I have any torque steer? And the main answer to that is no discernible torque steer above what I used to get in my summer tire and stock wheel setup. So the main thing that I want to say about this wheel and tire setup is that it is lacking in traction compared to the summer tires. Unfortunately, you can't use summer tires during the winter anyway. So you know, I'm pretty happy with the setup as it is right now. It's getting me really decent acceleration times around corners, and it gets really good grip, and it does really well in the cold temperatures as well. You know, obviously every tire is going to lose grip in the cold unless you have winter tires, and winter tires are kind of soft and wallowy anyway, so you're probably not going to be doing too much performance driving in them anyway. For what they are, these Sumitomo all seasons have done really well, and as far as the wheels go, I love the way they look right now. I think the car looks really well with these wheels. I've already seen other Type R owners buy the same set of wheels that I did. I think they look great. The car look in black and blue and silver. I've seen them in all different colors, this wheel setup, and it looks amazing. So I'm really happy with this wheel setup. 18-inch wheels I think are the sweet spot for the Type R. You can't go any smaller. It'd be really difficult to fit the Brembo brakes under smaller wheels. So I think 18 is the sweet spot for Type Rs. Now let's go over the positives that I've had for this car for the last few months. So obviously I love getting in this car. Pretty much anytime I'm going to go drive it, I get excited to get in it. You know, as soon as you hit these bucket seats, and I love these bucket seats, you know, I get nice and comfortable in them, and they hug you so well that you just want to take every corner as fast as possible. It makes you feel a little bit special when you're driving the car, which is exactly what you want in your hot hatch, right? So, you know, I've been enjoying it a lot. Definitely every time I get into it, I take corners as fast as I possibly can. You know, I try to push the limit sometimes here and there. I live in a perfect spot with a lot of back roads. As you can see there, I'm having a little bit of fun with the acceleration, of course. The main thing I want to say, you know, since this is a front-wheel drive platform, you know, 0 to 60 times, if that's important to you, I would not I would not recommend getting this car. It's a front-wheel drive, so especially as the temperature gets colder and colder, it's going to have more and more issues getting traction, especially in the first and second gear. I'm able to spin tires on third gear on this car, so it's kind of crazy that you know, this car does that. It has a lot of power, of course. But, you know, like I said, if it's for drag racing, I really don't recommend this car. It is more of a canyon carver. You know, it's a fast car for turns and for getting around really fast corners and the back roads and track days. I can't wait for more track days next year. Really looking forward to that. I can demonstrate this for you right now. So I'm at 45 miles per hour. Turbo kicks in, and the tires were spinning. And, you know, even that was going 45 miles an hour, and the tire spun there. So you can imagine getting a good launch from a dig is going to be pretty much impossible, especially in these temperatures. Some other positives. I love the fact that this is a hatchback. I've used the hatchback for a lot of stuff. I put wood back there, I've put luggage back there, I've put all kinds of stuff back there to get work done around the house. And this is one of the main reasons why I wanted a hatchback, is to use it as a hatchback. And I've been using it as it was meant to be used, and it's great. And I love the fact that it has 4 doors. I know some people wanted a 2-door version of the car, but I think 4 doors is really good to have because it's just way more practical. You know, I could open the back doors, throw my luggage in, my gear in, I can throw food back there, I can throw whatever I want back there, and it, you know, it's not a big deal. Something else I wanted to comment on is the fact that I love the driver's cockpit in this car. I wasn't so sure when I first bought it. You know, it kind of felt, you know, kind of more spread out than I wanted it to be, but everything you need is right where you want it to be. The stick shift is really close to the steering wheel, just as it's supposed to be on a good performance car. The driver layout, you know, I wasn't sure about the screen here, but I think it's a really good setup on the screen here. This guy's going the wrong way on that road. What is he doing? You know, the dashboard is really good, very responsive. Haven't had any issues with it. The radio, it is what it is. It works fine for the most part. You know, I haven't really had that many issues on it. I don't really care too much about it. I've had a couple of dash rattles here and there, but the dealership has taken care of them anyway. So again, no issues there. If you have dash rattles in your Type R, I recommend going to the dealership to get them taken care of. So now that we're talking about the negatives, let's talk about the biggest negative that I've had in this car, and that's the transmission. So in case you don't know, I'm getting the first to second gear grind, especially when it's hotter out. After the car warms up, the first to second gear shift can sometimes grind the transmission, the synchro on the transmission, and you know, that can get pretty disheartening after a while. I hate hearing gear grinds. I have, you know, mechanical sympathy, so you know, it's one of those things where I don't like hearing it, but you know, it's happening, and unfortunately we don't know what the fix is going to be yet, so Honda is still working on it. There's that grind. I wasn't even going that fast either. A couple of other notes, you know, before we head to the fun part, the driving portion. You know, it's getting me around 28 miles to the gallon, and I'm driving it pretty aggressively, so that's actually really impressive that it's getting me 28 miles to the gallon, especially now that I have this exhaust. I'm always wanting to kind of rev it up and hear the exhaust sound more and more. But even with that, it's getting me 28 miles to the gallon, and that goes to show you how efficient this engine is. The brakes have been really, really good. I keep checking them once a week, basically, to see if I need to change them up. You know, I have gone through a couple track days with this car, and they're still completely fine. They do squeal every once in a while, which I'm completely okay with as well. You know, I don't mind at all with the squeals. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up with the boring part. Let's get to the fun part, the driving portion. The exhaust is perfect. I can hear what the engine's doing. Heel toe is fairly easy once you get used to it. Pedals could be a little bit better, but once you get used to it, it's not a big deal. One thing that I've noticed is this car definitely has Rev Hang, unfortunately. Very faint, not really noticeable, especially compared to the STI and the WRX and the Civic Sport hatch I used to own. Those have horrific Rev Hang. Definitely not as bad as those, but it still definitely has Rev Hang. Here we are doing 65, 70 miles an hour. The different wheels and tires I put on the car, I made everything a little bit softer compared to the stock wheels and tires, so it feels a little bit better on the bumps. Here you go. It is in comfort mode, so you have that as well. And the exhaust is barely audible, which is perfect when you're on the highway. If I do want to hear it, just drop down a couple of gears. And there it is. It's perfect. That's why I keep saying this exhaust mod is perfect so far. Really enjoying it. And then once you find yourself back on twisty roads, put it back in sport mode. Everything tightens up a little bit, which is perfect. Make sure the coast is clear. Go ahead and drop a couple of gears and let her rip. So stable. Then you get these lovely back roads of Pennsylvania. Just watch out for deer. You're good to go. This is where the car is most at home. You get this off-camber left turn here. Drop it into second. Oh yeah. Car just rotates a tiny bit, which is perfect. And then spin their tires all through second. So good. Back end comes around a tiny bit. Oh, this is lovely. Lovely car. Lovely. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for watching. As always, this was a lot of fun to make. Love driving this car around. Fast corners like this. It's a beautiful time of year to drive this car around. You're a little bit traction limited, but it's not a big deal. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.